Oh, hey, I don't have my camera on. Now I have my camera on. Now my camera's off. Now it's on. Now it's off. Now it's on. Now it's off. Okay, off, on. Morning, Navid. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I have issues. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is a Friday. I have coffee. All things are good. Hey, Garuda. Oh, you're Garuda. Hi, Garuda. I don't know your Twitch handle. I don't think I've seen your Twitch handle before. So, or maybe I have, but I just haven't written it down. And so, anyway, we're moving this morning. We're moving this morning. I actually already had like a cool idea and I'm drawing it out. So I will switch to monitor and we will put music on though. We need to put music on. Let's do lo-fi this morning. Lo-fi. Can we even hear it? Guess we can hear it. It sort of sounds good there. There, that works. All right, time to switch over. Oh, okay. That works. It's kind of like my abnormal, which is my game handle. Alrighty. I'm going to, so I had this idea all of a sudden of how to enter this scene. Sometimes I just enter a scene. I want to sometimes enter scenes with sort of a way to here we go. I'm gonna put like these power lines here to indicate that they're running lines off the ship. Right. Sometimes it's hard to just like your it's hard to do some of these things with the thought processes here of, you know, sometimes so okay, I got sidetracked. Scenes are hard to enter into, right? Because you've got to think about the flow of the scene. How do I get into a scene? And in this instance, I'm trying to think of how to enter into this scene. It's a cold open, and that's what they call it in TV, and it's something similar. They call it a cold open. So we're opening up this comic cold. It's in media res. We're in the middle of another thing that's happening, and we're picking up the story right in the middle of it. And in this instance, the in media res is something that's not really important to the story. You want to make sure that whatever is happening isn't critical, because then you'll lose your readers, right? You know, we're in the middle of solving the entire story. We've already done half the work. You won't follow us for this, but we will now do the other half. Yeah, that doesn't work. So, part of the story here is that we're using the Kittiwake to power part of the city, because it's got a huge reactor in it, right? And so we're going to use the Kittiwake's reactor to help the city. So we're going to put a lot of vehicles on the ground. You know, indicating that they've got a whole bunch of vehicles just taking power and running power. It's powered by a dwarf star. It's powered by a flaw in space and time. So cool. But then I was like, well, what else is going on? Because you want to sort of start the way that these things talk, or the way that these scenes work. You want to start sort of somewhere. So it's raining. not just any rain. This is fallout, right? From blown up places, buildings that are, that fell, things like that. This is fallout. And it's not radioactive fallout, but it's still fallout. A lot of things blew up, and then that material ended up in the atmosphere, and it's now raining back down. Right? So this becomes part of the story without it being part of the story. There we go. You're going to have people in here huddling under the awning of the nose of the spacecraft, because the two wings that make up that the gravity plate, the gravity blade on the front, that those wings will be very useful to be a good place to shelter from the rain. But we're still going to have water everywhere. And this gives me something for Navin and Mayrel to talk about to start this scene. I'm not going to do anything. No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. George wants to join in, don't you, George? Yeah. I have one hair. This is where it's like, now I need to get a haircut. I've got one lone hair that just keeps falling right here. It's so frustrating. So this became the George Show quick, didn't it? Yeah. The George Show. And so now we pause to snuggle a cat, as you're supposed to do. It's required by law, right? You knew that. We all knew that. And now there'll be like disdain. Are you going to look at them with disdain? You really are like this glutton cat, aren't you? Such a glutton. You're such a glutton. But I can get scratches. I can get scratches if I jump up there. All right. Okay, but I do need to get back to work at some point. Like, I love getting scritches and giving you scritches and stuff. But I'm going to have to go get work at some point. Go back to work. There will come a day, guys, where I'm going to have to build a little ramp so you can get out. I mean, not today, because he's not even 3 yet, but it's very useful that you were exactly you were born on 2020. That's a seriously useful date for you to be born at, because now I know exactly how old you are. You're very useful. Yeah, very useful. Isn't there a thing where it always like rains after a disaster or something? It seems like I remember something like that because of all the fires and the smoke and everything of that sort. my Navin avatar. Yeah, now that's a dark place to start on this episode. Do I want to go there or not? Do I want to say it or not? Because he's saying fallout, not nuclear, but all the things that were vaporized, buildings, vehicles, and then Mirel says people. It's a dark place to start. I may want to redo that depending on. We'll see. What do we think, guys? We're starting off right off the bat with sort of a heavy hitting statement. So there's a rain falling, and it's fallout. It's all the last bits of things that were stuck in the atmosphere from all the explosions, fires, things like that. Things that were vaporized are falling back down. And it's not nuclear. It's not radioactive, but it is still fallout. I think so too. And show that it's not hunky dory. Okay. The tears of the soldier are washed away by the rains of sorrow. That sounds like something she'd say. Hey, Ken. I'm groggy too. It actually, though, was really successful. I was very pleased. The boxing pill thingy did indeed loosen up my back and loosen up like my body and everything like that. And I don't think I had cramps at all last night. I don't remember because I really pretty much just crashed. It was awesome. And at about like 8:30, Maya came in and said, "Do you want to get up?" And I was like, "No, not really." I was like, "Yay." But I slept a lot last night, which is why this morning I got up and I'm like, I know exactly how I'm entering the scene. We're going to do this. This will be great. This is lots of good work. Da, 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 da. Hey, Optic Sphinx, how you doing? There we go. So, this is the way I script, guys. This is the way I've decided I script. I've decided I do this way. So that's good. I'm glad to see that. What you working on today, Optic Sphinx? Ooh, nice. Nice. How long have you been playing that particular campaign? So much paper. Yeah, I know. Campaign work is so hard. I love it, though. It's some of my favorite things to do is to build campaigns. I'm actually doing that with a Shadowrun campaign right now. You're just starting it. So your players and you're building all the world building and stuff like that, all the little pieces. Oh, I love that part. That's probably coming from Tom. I think the power buses are on this side panel. So I'm going to have her close the side panel buses right there. You've only played 4 times and 3 of your characters are dead? How'd you do that? Well, you see, there was the cell bear. He was sleeping. Couldn't help it. I just came up to him and I hit him on the head with a tennis racket. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. Oh. I will spend 2 or 4 or 2 or 3 games drawing. Right? Drawing. I will spend 2 or 3 games drawing my character. So if they kill it off right off the bat, it means it doesn't get a drawing. See, I just totally guessed about the owlbear. Yeah, see, owlbears suck. Don't go up against owlbears unless you really think that's a good idea. I mean, right now, my bard is an level 11 bard, and I don't think she'd want to mess with owlbears. Although I've got to admit, bag of gunpowder, pretty cool. Good idea. Right. Are you relatively new to D&D? I mean, like, how long have you been playing? Is your DM still kind of new? Is he? Oh, so he's still relatively new as well. I feel like that's the. Oh, then it's sibling rivalry. A little bit of sibling rivalry going on there. There's. Oh yeah. It's all right. It's so much fun though, isn't it? It's so fun. I love playing D&D. And that's not the complete version. Here's the complete version. I feel like I'm missing something out here. There's some good stuff in this folder. Yeah, here's my. This is my tiefling. Tiefling bard. Her name is Ivy. Because most tieflings are red, and she's got green skin, which I thought was like, well, thank you. But she's lived now. She's an 11th level character. She's lived for years. I mean, like years of real time. Like we've been playing every weekend for. I think this campaign started in 2018, and so she's a level 11 character. She's been around for, quite a few years now. So I've had time to work on her portrait and get it cleaner and work on it more. And since she's a bard, she uses prestidigitation now to create like light shows to go with her songs, and she sings songs about butts. And so that's a thing. She's sort of the comic relief of the party. But yeah, so she's my tiefling bard. And she's been around for a very, very long time now. She's level 11. That's the fun part. I take my Surface with me, my little Microsoft Surface, and I'll just sit there, and that's what I do in between rounds. Because of course, we've got now 9 players in this game. And so when combat happens, man, you're going to be sitting there for a good 20 minutes between turns, as everybody else has to figure out what to do to attack. And so that's my I also, because like some characters don't, I've been drawing my characters for years and years and years. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in here that's my character. So the bards can attack with it. Like we can attack with those with like a sonic type attack. But I'm curious. I haven't seen the movie yet. We're going to go see it at the Alamo because that's a good place to see these movies. And so I also just found some of my early stuff too. Like, you want to see some funny stuff. This is Heather Hall. Oh, okay. I know they fight an owlbear. Heather Hall was one of my first Robotech characters. And I love this portrait. Because, like, it's all done in, I don't know, what is that? Felt pen? It looks like felt pen. I don't even know what I was doing. This is high school for me. This was my high school character, one of my high school characters. What's really funny is I recently found this guy. And he is my ninth grade character. Right here. Before I knew that I could draw the pictures on the character sheets, I didn't even know that was a thing I could do. You know what I mean? Like, so all I did was draw the plane that he was flying with his missiles, so I could cross the missiles off when he fired them in battle and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't know I could draw on the character sheet. In fact, this is from the first Robotech book. And the first Robotech book didn't even have a spot for a portrait. And then Kylie Lawson was like my best character. I spent a long time with her. I like the fact that this character sheet still says that she's level 1, 1850. But the later versions of these character sheets came out with a spot here for your character portrait. So I started putting my character portrait in. And so this was later on when I could put the character portraits in. I actually, she was a bio-maintenance engineer, and the rules of Robotech said that you couldn't fly a large mech, but you could use the Cyclone in CAD's 1 mode. So she had a Cyclone, but that was it. Usually she drove around in a big truck, and she fixed everything. She fixed all the ships whenever they blew up. And so that was her thing. And then I had 2 pages of pictures for it. Like, that was her truck. That was her van. And at some point in time, we inherited a Logan from the second series, and so she strapped it to the top of the van. Because it was high school, and we didn't know what that meant, that you couldn't put an airplane on top of a van. We had no idea. We didn't think about that. It was like really funny. So, yeah. These are all the things she salvaged. Right. Huh. Yeah, I miss her. She was a good character. Abort, retry, fail. Anyway, I have a long history of drawing my characters during games that goes all the way back to frickin' high school. I like this piece. This was my Falconer. She was part of ICE's role-playing system. So this is my ICE character. We played ICE, which was Middle-earth role-playing MERPs. And we played that. Anyway, back to work. There's my walk down memory lane for you. tears of the soldier are washed away by the rains of sorrow. And he goes, Pitkin's Lament. You know him? Oh, yeah, he's one of my favorite Deus authors. Maybe it shouldn't be Pitkin's. I like the idea of it being Song's Lament. All right. You have a question about being a DM? Go ahead. Shoot. I have been a DM many a moon. Lots of moons. For just one session? That's a good question. If you're going to DM for one session, I would recommend, because of course it's up to you. I love world building. It's one of my favorite things, as is obvious by the fact that Brent keeps telling me to stop playing with star maps. World building is so much fun. But what I would recommend is this. Each character that's in your campaign for the game, make sure that they have a bit of story to them. Because if you're a good DM, then you let the players do whatever they want to do within reason. Because railroading is a thing that we DMs will do if we're not careful. You know, you walk into a tavern and you see 4 guys over on the corner and then 3 guys over there. And invariably, you're going to have the bard go, oh, I'm going to sing to those 3 guys over there. But you didn't write those 3 guys. You don't know what those 3 guys are. And so now the bard's over there singing to them and rolling like charm and stuff like, what are you doing over there, bard? Sort of thing. So whatever you do in your campaign, make sure that those 3 guys have a story and a little bit of an interesting thing, and that they're not part of the plot, so that the bard sings to them, but they don't help the plot any. You know what I mean? So that there's not enough interest to keep your players over there, but there's something so that if they go to those characters, you'll see them, or they'll have something to do. One of the guys is, so-and-so. One of the guys is so-and-so, but none of them are interested in the story. No more star maps. Yep. Brent says, give it about 5 minutes of design. I say, make sure that everybody, yeah. So that's another good one. Can you make a character to join them? There is a great risk of what we call Deus Ex Machina. Do you know have you heard that term, Deus Ex Machina? It means intervention, the machine of God. That's actually literally what it means. It means the machine of God. It's Latin, and it's a storytelling mistake that's made often. Like, you'll put in a character and the character can save everybody. The character has the capability to just fix everything. The character always does stuff. When you're a GM and you have your character in the campaign, it's really hard to make the character dumb enough to not just solve all the riddles and solve all the problems and shoot all the bad guys and fix everything. So even we, as advanced game masters, I've been a GM since 1990. I've been GMing since 1990. So, or DMing. And even I tend to make my character go to a faraway land. Ivy, when I ran all of our party through Expedition to Barrier Peaks because we were having fun with modules. And when I did, my character went off to school, and that's what she did. So she went to school. And right now, my buddy Troy is the GM, and his character has been stuck in an alternate universe this entire time, so he can't play because it's really tempting to solve all the problems with your character. It's very tempting. So I say you absolutely can do it, but do it with caution. Put a little red flag up there and say, okay, but warning, Optic Sphinx, if you make this character solve too many problems, nobody will want to play. So that's typically the way I work. It's a recommendation. Obviously, you do you, right? Do this your way. It's you do however you want to do, but that's my recommendation on it. I tend to park my NPCs so that all the NPCs that are there are just, you're welcome. All the NPCs that are there are just they're furthering the flow of, they're either furthering the flow of the plot or they're a bunch of random people. Either way, put a small amount of backstory in each of them. At least give them eyes, hair, what race they are, and some reason to be in that spot. Recently, I actually have been even doing that with the bad guys. Like, I get really annoyed, when, as I've grown older. I mean, I've been playing D&D since the 80s. I've been playing, all of this. So when I started playing D&D was only 10 years old or so. It wasn't even that old when I started playing it. And when we started playing, man, it just seemed like, you walk into this room and there's 12 goblins. Okay, what were those goblins doing in that room? Why were they there? Were they playing cards? What were they doing? After a while, it's like I started to ask that question. Why are these goblins here? What happened was that later on when I made my campaigns, I started, okay, that's it. I'm tired of this. I'm going to put, 12 goblins in this room, but they're guarding something. Like, there's a reason why they're in there. There's something they're guarding. And the thing that they're guarding may not be important to the party, but at least they have a reason. You find 6 goblins and they're in this room and they're all asleep because this is their bunkhouse, Oh, yeah. Bandits. But bandits, they move. Are you fighting your brother in these games? Is he like your opponent? Like, does he make characters that fight you? Oh, okay. So you were trying to rescue his characters from the bandits. Or eating, or something, You don't know. Your character just died outright. Ah. So you had pistoleros going on in here? That's a lot. I should move my pistolero. Speaking of, she's also a character. Although she's pistolero is Pathfinder, I believe. Oh. God, freeze it. I think the funniest part is I know exactly what you're referring to. Oh, man. DBZ reference for the win. All right. Yeah, that's a thing. Horns and bullets. Did you fail all 3 death saves? Oh, ouch. That's brutal, man. That's brutal. R.I.P. your character, man. I respect that. One of our rangers now carries a bunch of diamonds around with him, diamond dust, so that we can resurrect. Things are getting ugly. We're starting to fight minor gods now, so it's getting pretty unpleasant in our game, which we'd be playing tomorrow night, except that it's Passover, so we've got to do the Passover thing, which, not a complaint. I mean, generally speaking, we play every Saturday night for the most part, with some exceptions. So we still manage something in the order of 40-something games a year. So I'm not going to complain that we... It was too big. You mean sized wrong? Oh no. Can before we start the next one to the print run, let's make sure we've done all of our let's sit down and have a show where we work on proportion and design on our master pages, because I think mine are off too. And I'm worried. I'm actually very worried, because looking at the omake next to issue 1 on Global Comics, I can tell that the omake is taller and thinner than the issue 1, which means I'm worried that they're, wide and whatever. Let me do something while we're thinking about it. You're not in my private chat, are you? You're still being attacked by covers. There. Just save that link, when you get to it. That's my printer folder. That's the printing folder, the folder that Bob has access to. So you can just copy things to that folder that's on my OneDrive. Big PDFs that once our PDFs are done, we can copy both of them there, and then Bob can just pull both of them. That's what I do. I send him a link to that folder, and then he can copy the PDFs off of that straight away. And then that way you don't have to worry about mail size or whatever. And I clear it out between runs. So once we're done with this run, I'll clear out my Bellatrix Rising sitting in there. That's the Omake. Once he's printed it. So I'll clear it. And then once he's printed your Armageddon Divinity, we'll clear that one too. And then we'll load new ones up. And then all we need to do is just send him one email saying, here's the link to the folder. And that way, you don't have to derez your comic or anything like that. So you don't have access to it. Do you want access to it, Brent? I mean, that's a legitimate question. I have a folder that's my Brent folder, but it could be the printing folder. And you could then, if you're working on all of these, it could just be like a group folder for all of us to work on these final versions before they roll to the printer. It is the exact same thing. Oh, yeah, I was about to say, it's the same. And maybe the Brent folder is, we look it over because maybe we don't want to stick things that you haven't edited. But I'm like, well, maybe that's not such a good idea. Uh-oh, we lost it. Something just jumped ship. It's back, though. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, is to be edited, looked over. And what I might actually do at some point in time is make a folder called, editing, and then a folder called printing, and give you the access to editing and anybody else who wants to help me edit these things. Although, here I am composing this entire scene right here. Man, that's where I was this morning. Although now all of the fog is gone. I was foggy It is amazing what 8 hours of sleep will do to a person. I feel 100% better. Like, I feel a whole lot better. I'm creative. We're moving through the story. I love that I'm helping Optic Sphinx with storytelling and stuff like that. I'm going to take this. We're going to move it out of here. Yeah, move it up here. And that's what this blue area is for me to copy things in so that I can do this. He's 2 raccoons in a trench coat. That's awesome. That is an awesome character. 2 raccoons in a trench coat. Oh, I dig that. I dig that a lot. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Okay, guys. Sick bay, medical. What are we calling it? Medical or sick bay? Sick bay sounds more native or navy, and I like it. But it also doesn't quite cover. I feel like a sick bay is smaller than a medical bay. Like, it doesn't have all the surgery equipment and stuff. What you think, Brent? I'll put sick bay in here temporarily so I can go on. I realize as a person with ADD, time management is one of my big problems, right? So I don't manage time well. That's why we're here. I was thinking about how I'm totally okay with, say, you know, giving some of my hard drive space or whatever to people. The thing that always stresses me out is giving time. That's like the thing. Like, as long as it doesn't cost me any time to do something, I am more than willing to give people stuff. That's the resource of value to me. Speaking of giving time, mm-hmm. On my Patreon, I don't know. I mean, my hang on, let me take a look. I don't know what my Patreon's doing. By the way, thank you for joining. I think you can set for more if you want. You know, always set for more. Okay. Thanks. Weird. Oh, yeah. You moved it up. Thank you. Garuda, you're awesome, man. Oh. Yeah, and I need to figure it out. It's there were all these tiers and I was going to do all this stuff and then it was like I was available like at one point I was like I'll be online and things like that. Remember I set these things up in like 2018, so long before we were streaming every day. And it was like, you know, I set all those tiers up and it was like all these different things that I do, and I really just don't have it in me to go through all the things because I tried to set up times with my patrons and that was what I was just saying was like the thing with me is time is valuable, much more valuable than money, because I can't manage it well. I manage it very poorly. And so anyway, Garuda, thank you very much, my friend. I will definitely be putting all my patrons on like a board or something that goes with me at conventions and stuff like that so that you can see behind me the patrons and the patron wall. In fact, that's probably something I should do, is just make a patron wall that like sits in my, now that I'm making a standee of Chang, I already have her coming along with me. Wouldn't hurt to have a wall o' patrons. Oh, I have a Discord server. I just don't use it. In fact, I think that Restream fires off a note to my Discord server at the beginning of every show. You know what would be really cool? Is if I had a picture of like somebody else, like Navin, and made a standee of Navin standing there holding. So even if you do come in on Discord, I can see it. Oh, look at that. Brent, it cracks me up that you are everywhere. You're like omnipresent. Like Brent's like, here's Discord, and here I am on Twitch, and here I am on Facebook, and here I you just like go through all of these. That's fair. That's my thought too, is like Discord is the same problem I have with Instagram, which is I can't stream to Instagram, so it doesn't really matter. Instagram's dark as far as my streams go. All right. You hear and see all there. This is Brent over on YouTube. And you moderate all. All right. So that's a good 4 pages of I need one more. We're stopped here because I need one more line. Remember how I was saying I craft my lines? I want to craft a line in here so that Tum, who just walked into the back of the bridge, or not the bridge, pilot house, walked into the back of the pilot house. He fired off a pithy comment, and not a bad one. Just he was like, "Oh, I'd like to think the old girl's giving a blood transfusion." Like he's just being like, "It's okay, don't worry about it," because our pilot just said, "Is a bird that can't fly really a bird?" Because she's like grumpy that the ship's not flying. So I feel like my weather report's been stuck at 0 degrees and cloudy for days. Yeah, I was going to say, There you go. Now you've woken up. Yes, I have. I am completely up to date. Yeah, me too. The problem is that my mom's BFF was here last night, and so we were having dinner with her and everything like that and talking to her, and so we didn't get to watch it last night. My wife and I didn't get to watch it, so she hasn't seen it yet, but I saw it because I went to bed last night and turned on my tablet and watched it, and I've got a little speaker that goes into my pillow so that I can listen to music at night without disturbing my wife, and so I routed the sound to my little speaker and I watched it last night. It was so cool. Such a good episode. And so it's like so many things. But then my sister this morning is like, so I didn't know when this happened or when that happened. I was like, you gotta stop talking. Brian hasn't seen it yet. No spoilers. It's very funny. Right? And now look, you two. I have to ride herd on these engines for the next few weeks. If y'all gave me some weird cold, I'm gonna make you two bring me soup every day. Deal, sir. That was awesome. And yet another interesting thing that we didn't know about the forward view screens of the new starships in Star Trek. All right. All right, that seems to wrap that scene up pretty well. I like it. All right, tied that one up. Yep. That's right, Can. That's right. Alrighty. That's good. We've settled in this scene. The medical scene seems to be okay. Now we need to do this engineering scene. The engineering scene has a lot of pages in it. I'm just saying. Which is good. This allows us to. We've got to figure out what the goal of the scene is. When we talk about this scene, what are we trying to do? What's the attempted goal? Paladins are hard to play, I find. Clerics are easier to play because I feel like the difference in personality between those two characters is that a paladin is militant almost about the way that they are religiously aligned. So whatever their religion is, they're very very much like you have to play it really rough. Whereas a cleric, on the other hand, I feel is kind of more laid back. Like, you guys are all weird and don't like my god, but that's okay. Like, I'm okay with that, you know. Whereas a paladin's like, you probably should join my god, you know. I tried playing a paladin at the beginning of this campaign, and she was just way too lawful good, and I could not get her to settle in with the party, and it got to the point where it was like, you kind of have to arrest all these people. You know that, right? You know, like that was the decision I had to kind of make with the character. It was like, I'll have to arrest everybody, and that's not going to be any fun to play. That's my hot take on it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not necessarily the truth, but it's my hot take. So take that as you will. Okay, so looking at our scene here, this is an engineering scene. I feel like our goal for this is to get to better spec is concerned about local space. Hope that's not for me. That's our goal in this scene. So we want to about mid-scene. here. Right. Erase this then. Oh, it relates to my cleric? I don't have a cleric now. I switched to bard. And then she was stupid and cool. And I love her. And she's fluffy. And I didn't have any idea. There are 2 cats in our backyard. And they're both the same color, which makes me think that they're related in one way or another, which might be. And they're eating our grass, which means that they're going to start throwing up back there. That's nice of them. Yay, thanks, cats. But this is probably why we're not seeing George at all. He's probably down at the glass door downstairs, looking outside, going, "What are you 2 doing in my yard?" You know. With this scene, I'm having a hard time thinking of how to enter into the scene. When you have characters that are in motion and things are happening and stuff is going on board the ship, you can enter all of the scenes in media res, which means moving in the middle of the story, right? So we enter into the scene and I'm going to stand up for a second. You enter into the scene, and quite literally, that's when you have one character go, and so then the doctor says, "That's not my toe," you know, and like that's literally how that works, right? The in media res means you drop into the end of the story, and it's funnier, or it's an interesting way to enter into the story. You can assemble in your head what happened just before it, you know, and so that's what in media res means. And so I'm thinking of doing that, and I actually really legitimately just thought that might not be funny if Tom and Bennett are standing there, and then Bennett says something like, you know, and then the cow says, "That's not milk," or something like that, and you know, and then Tom looks at her and goes, "No, I don't think I get that." You know, like whatever the joke is that Bennett's trying to tell, she's just not succeeding, you know. Oh, walk for a second. All right. Legitimately kind of think right? So if you guys want to see a tiefling being bizarre, highly recommend the YouTube series One for All. They've got a tiefling in there. She just cracks me up every time. She is so funny. The engine pod sits after of the pilot house, the primary power generator. That way you can eject the entire nose of the ship if you really need to, in an emergency. It's like ejecting the warp core. But it's also the primary gravity generator, and that's one of the reasons why it's there, is because the gravity generators to generate the donkey drive, or the whatever you want to call that, the pull drive, are in those forward canards. That's what those are for. They generate to then project a black hole. So this engine spot is in the front of the ship, and it's right in the nose, right behind the pilot house, and it's 2 stories tall. So we've got kind of this engineering room that's similar to the one in the Enterprise D. We have the upper story and the secondary story, and stuff like that. And so we've got Tum standing here. Sometimes they're just over awesome stick figures. Right? Well, we're not into refining this one yet because I don't feel like that joke was good necessarily or anything like that. I'm not sure I want a joke. And she might be telling a story. And Bennett routinely says things that don't make sense because she has problems with that particular aspect. And now we're at 4 minutes till the end of the show, and I'm just sitting here kind of going, maybe I want to revisit this scene. However, like we've gotten, if you look here, we've got this scene's solid now. This scene still needs one more pass, but it's pretty close to done. This scene here in the mess hall is pretty solid as well, but it needs one more pass before it's done. This little piece on the landing ramp, then Alex walking through the wastes is not going to be anything. There's not a lot of dialogue here. And then this little like vignette of people trying to rescue people and stuff like that. Oh man, I just unintentionally did a cool thing that I should probably play up. Because I just now realized Alex is now going to walk through the wastes in that rain. Right now she's in this rain. So we should probably take and do this with her. Put a mask on her, like so, and put a hood over her. And then she's a hooded figure. Right? And now she's in that rain, walking along. And then she ends up, let's put her under like a rock shelter so she can kind of fall asleep under this rubble, but not necessarily, just under something that protects her from the rain. But now the quote that was said at the very beginning, the Deus quote that she says right off the bat, where she says, "The tears of the soldier are washed away by the rain of sorrow." That quote now comes back to haunt right here. So now she's got this Deus Stati quote that she says in the very beginning, which in the end sort of implies something. You know what I mean? Like it gives a little bit of a hint. And that actually is totally unintentional, but works really well, and I'm going to lean into it. Those two pieces work well, and I'm going to totally lean into that. So and this works better for this, because now she's in this gray scene. Everything's gray. It's raining. She's having a horrible time. Everything is just miserable. Then we have the sunrise, right? Which is significant. Moreover, now you can see why the cap's out, right? Because now they can see easier onto the ground and see what's going on now that the rain stopped. So now you've got cap fighters out, and they're looking around for people and things like that. So I think that works really well and transitions well to the scene that we needed there. Besides, I wanted a good excuse to draw my cap fighters, or to build my cap fighters. All right, guys, it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to go hang out with my buddies at lunch and go get like a really nice hamburger, which is what looks like everybody's doing at this point in time. There's a nice hamburger place downtown, or in Old Town, and we're going to go hang out there and have lunch together. So it was good having you guys on the stream. Thank you very much. There will be no stream tonight, of course, because tonight's Friday night, and I'm going to go hang out with my buddies. And I'll see you guys again on Sunday night, and we'll be here again, and all will be good. And then we start actually like prep for Wicked West, which is then next week. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Optic Sphinx, enjoy your game. That's going to be so cool. You're going to go see Mario tomorrow with your kid. That's going to be great. That's going to be great. I'm hoping we can go see D&D at the Alamo. We should probably set that up. So, see you all Sunday night. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye, guys.